episode 12 of Radio Reflex. Countdown to level 2 is what I'm calling this episode, Alan. It's me, Ian, and my co-host.
And I'm Alan. It's interesting episode today because I think we've got a whole lot of small things to talk about. I think last week we had a couple of big subjects to go over. This week, a bunch of small things to go over, and hopefully some viewers can shout out with a few questions as we go on.
Absolutely. Alrighty. So let's get into good housekeeping. How we like to start the episodes, and I think the most important thing for today, being that it is the 12th of May, that we are streaming this live on Facebook, is to give a big shout out and a big happy birthday to the creator of Flesh and Blood, James White. Can't be a day over 21. Well, he doesn't look it. So just a big shout out to the guy that kind of pulled us all together. So I hope James is celebrating at home with the family and staying safe. And
I did have a quick chat with him.
Celebrate another year.
I did have a quick chat with him this morning, and I said, "Had you done any festivities?" And he had a cup of coffee made for him this morning, and that was about as wild as it got in the White household this morning. But funny, James is a good ager. I mean, some of the rest of us,
some of us are getting that grey.
I'm grey all through, But James and Keanu Reeves, they may well be. How old we don't even know how old James could be. He could be in his early hundreds by now. We didn't know. But best wishes to
this is where we find out Flesh and Blood is actually just autobiographical. He lived through Welcome to Wraith.
James has been all those characters. He was Rhino once, then he was Katsu. He's lived it all.
Well, there was a bit of a conspiracy theory, but there are a few people when Kano got released that said Kano had a passing resemblance to James White. So possibly, who knows?
Possibly, but we all know James's character. James's favorite character, one that means most to him, is definitely Dorinthia. I'm not sure if it's he's publicly known that, but he's always said Dorinthia. That's why the Dorinthia poster in the office, the big poster, is posted closest
pride
to
of place.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So happy birthday, James.
Cool. What else do you have for good housekeeping this week? I guess we start talking about New Zealand going into level 2.
Yeah, well, maybe this isn't even good housekeeping. I think the whole level 2 and discussing gaming, even in general, not just Flesh and Blood, it's possibly a pretty big subject. And I think the interesting thing about New Zealand is, we've got these one country and we've got all these levels, we've got accurate levels. We've got, we've been on level 4, we're in level 3, we're now going to level 2. That's pretty, none of us have lived through something like this before. It's pretty astounding. And
exactly.
We saw a few months ago that we would be not able to play games, let alone not even be able to see friends and family at the moment. So
so with the sort of ease into level 2, gaming stores haven't been directly talked about, obviously, because they're very niche. Government probably doesn't really even know what they are. So it's sort of a little vague about what can and can't happen. Obviously, they are covered by the retail part of it, but the gaming side of it, I feel, is probably going to be closer to what the same restrictions that the bars and cafes have about the number of people, the time limit of only being able to be there for 2 hours and stuff like that. It's going to be an interesting. Again, we've been adapting through. We adapted through level 4. We've adapted through level 3. I'm sure New Zealand will adapt through level 2 as well, and get some stuff going. You know a little bit more about the level 2 stuff, Alan? You're cutting out there, Alan.
Am I back?
No, you're back. No, you're frozen.
Okay, yeah, well, it's good to see that obviously New Zealand stores have taken to running online stores, and I know a bunch of the stores are now making their preparations to level 2. I know in Auckland, Card Merchant and West City is going to they are going to a level 2 kind of play area now. They've put details up on Facebook. I don't know about all the other big stores in Auckland, like Mighty Ape, obviously, Hobby Master, Vagabonds, Bay Dragon. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, or if people decide to maybe play in small groups at home. And this kind of a thing that'll be happening.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about you.
I mean,
I'm a little cautious.
Yeah, to be fair, I some people know my situation, but I had sort of major surgery at the beginning of this year, and so I'm technically my immune system's not quite as up to it as a lot of other people. So I probably won't be back into in-store stuff for a little while until we get into level 1. But I do like the idea of the stores opening, and in level 2 you can have gatherings up to 10 people at your house and stuff like that, and close people. So maybe what we'll see is some play groups getting together to run drafts and stuff like that, because obviously I think draft and sealed is going to be something a lot of people are keen on, because we haven't had a chance to do that yet. I definitely like the idea of possibly sort of getting 4 or 5 people together just to do a house draft. What might be nice, so go support your local store, pick up the product there, but then meet at someone's house. So that way you can effectively control your bubble still a little bit more. Obviously, you're extending it out a bit, but within that, you have a little bit more control than jumping straight back into being in with the public.
Yeah, and to be fair, you can travel now. You'll be able to go into these stores. I mean, I think like a few stores will have kind of restrictions on how many people can be in there at any one time. I assume will still be going on, but you'll be able to pick up product. And I mean, if you can spare money to support your LGS, that's going to be pretty major. If you can hand over any cash to them.
Yeah. Absolutely, support local business, especially small business, especially niche business. I know we've talked about them on the podcast before, but Arkham City Comics is opening again on Friday, and I've already sort of messaged Jeremy to say I'll come in for a catch up and to pick up some stuff. Just I want to be positive and supporting the small very the businesses that are truly affected by this, because they are niche products. So yeah, absolutely. If you have the ability to go and pick up some packs or some sleeves or whatever, definitely we are 100% behind supporting local businesses.
Yeah, probably still just the main thing is whatever you do, and we all want to play fair, we want to play games, but just stay safe, as Ian says, wash your damn hands. I think, to be honest, I'm going to be a little bit cautious. I mean, you've got good reason, as you said, to be a little cautious. I'm not sure about breaking my bubble quite yet. To be honest, just outside of gaming, messaging on my little chat group of friends, a bunch of them, and I said, guys, if we get to see each other in level 2, if we actually see each other in real life, please forgive me if I break out in tears when I see you guys. My mental state the last certainly 6 weeks has been pretty rough. And if I get to see some of my closest friends, I probably will become a little bit emotional, to be honest with you. I'm not going to hold it. I mean, it's been nice. I've actually seen you, Ian, the last 2 Fridays, because we've been in the office doing stuff. Although keeping our distance, but it's been me and Ian spent every day together at work, and it's been weird. And and we're online, but actually seeing somebody face to face, So it's been as I said, I haven't lived through this. None of us have lived through a pandemic or anything like this.
Absolutely,
it's uncharted territory. Like I think somebody said it's not that you're just working from home. It's actually that you're trying to work from home in the middle of a very serious situation.
Exactly. Alrighty. So I think that's all we need to talk about that. I mean, I guess we'll talk about this more next week once we get a feel for how it actually works, because obviously we don't actually go into level 2 until Thursday. So definitely next week's episode we'll let you know how things are working in that way. But yes, so what do we have next on the agenda, Al?
Well, we did play. I think, were you still in the league last week? Did you do a league? I did.
Oh yeah.
I don't have anything good from league.
I am. Yeah.
How did your league go?
Yeah, well, I went in both of the leagues, and I had a shocker in competitive. I went 0-3, and then got like the matchup for my 4th round, and it was against Karen playing Ninja. Like it was against Karen, and I messaged him. I'm like, what are you playing, bro? And he's like, I'm playing Ninja, and we were the 0-0s. So we were like 0-3, not playing for anything. He's like, I'm playing the aggressive Ninja. I'm just like, you can have the win. I don't need to. I don't need to spend that time. I was playing Viscera again, and I had just been run over by dashes all week.
This is probably the only problem with the competitive league, is that when you're 0-3, and us and our level of play, we're 0-3, the person we might meet in round 4 is going to be a Karen or a Carol or
right.
It's very. I mean, we knew what we were getting into, but it can be pretty. It can be pretty rough. There's no scrubs.
There's definitely no scrubs, and it always reminds me of a saying from for a quote from Rounders, which is one of my favorite Matt Damon movies, and it's about Texas Hold'em but hustling poker, and it's basically. If within 20 minutes of sitting down at the table, you can't tell who the fish is on the table, you're the fish. And quite often feel that is the case for competitors.
Speaking of favourite Matt Damon moments, I might be able to use a Matt Damon quote shortly when we discuss our work draft last week. I might be able to use the phrase applesauce, bitch.
Is it going to be Scotty doesn't know?
No, applesauce, bitch. That's my favourite Matt Damon. What are we going to do? Applesauce.
But in saying that, I did have a better week in casual. I made top 4 for the 3rd week in a row in casual, playing Viscera, which was really good. I had some good matches. My last round match was against Travis Reeder from the States. He is the guy behind Fab Foundry. Some of you may have come across Fab Foundry there. He is a new content creator. He just posted up like his sort of his mission statement about what he wants his channel to be recently on the fan page. Definitely worth going and checking out. He is a very passionate player, and he's really sort of fallen in love with Flesh and Blood, which is kind of cool. So I had a big long chat with him while we play. He is a hardcore Azalea player. He's been putting in the reps with Azalea, and we had a really close game with Azalea versus Viscera, which pretty much came down to a play mistake on his part. Basically, I was on 2 life. He was on 1 life. He had knocked the death whistle. And so he set up knock the death whistle, and he put on, instead of going and getting a red headshot with knock the death whistle to set up the dominate turn with Azalea, he went and got a red in the ledger and set that up. And the mistake that he made there was he either didn't calculate or didn't think about it. But I had a red reduce the ruin in hand, so that blocks for 4, and so his dominate hit for 4. I'm sorry, his dominate came in for 5. I was able to block 4 of it and go to 1, and then swing back the following turn with 4 rune. I think it was I had 4 rune chants, and I played Drawn into the Darkness, which I ended up hitting a pummel on and finishing him off for the win. And the misplay was, had he gone for the red headshot, he would have been coming in for dominate 6, and I had no armor left to use, and I had no arsenal. So a dominate for 6 would have guaranteed him the win, because unless I was running unmovables, which I wasn't. So it was a really good game and very close, and really enjoyed it.
So the moral of the story is, I'm glad I didn't join up in the casual league for you to smoke me again in points. So
yeah, well, yes. or you could have run into who I ran in the top 4, which in my ongoing battle with Sasha, I ran into him. He was playing Dash, and he had run over me with Dash in the competitive, and he ran over me again in the top 4 of the casual. So needless to say, I'm taking with the Dolphin League coming up, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I am taking a week off to let the Dash players fight it out. Yeah. We do have a question from Kale, which we will get to.
We'll get to that, Kale, in the
we'll get there soon. We'll just quickly we did play another event together last week. We played the Midian Guards, the Midian Guard Weekly Hobby League. And
Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night, and you set me the task of who I was going to play, and I played my infamous deck, Domrinthia, that I've been.
This is a deck that you've talked a lot about, Ian. But I assume this is the first time you actually.
It's the first time I'd ever put it together.
How did my plan work?
It went 0-2. Yeah. So, but in saying that, both games they came very close to winning, and my game against Lee, I think it came out of nowhere from him, and I don't think he really didn't know what was hitting. And unfortunately for me, both the players I played, which was Lee and yourself, were playing Ninja last week, so it was a very hard matchup to stay paced with Ninja.
Yeah, I think certainly it was for you. So you weren't playing something of your own creation, playing you weren't playing a top tier deck, but for me, a win is a win. I played the Ninja list that came first place in the first Armed Cup event in Taiwan. That's happening through the Cat Footprints stores. I played Jacob Pearson, and he was playing the Viserai list, which I had been playing earlier. And he really schooled me back, forth, up, down with the deck. In fact, he pretty much schooled me so much that he actually basically let me pull off a full Lord of Wind combo, the whole line right up to Lord of Wind, because he knew he could take the damage. And
right.
He wanted me to feel a little bit better about mercilessly schooling me. So Jacob was like, I thought you could use it, Alan. And, to be honest, it was kind of fun.
Sasha did that to me in our Dash matchups. There were a couple of turns he just let me hit for like 14 or something, and it's like, see, it's good. I was like, don't patronize me.
I'll take it. I love Jacob. It was kind of fun, and I can't remember Sasha, the last time I did it.
I'm just gonna put it on record. Sasha better watch himself next time we're in face to face. If he tries to patronize me like that in a game, he might find himself getting rock bottom through a table.
Let's hope it's just a casual event so you don't get banned permanently. But yeah, so the second round of the event, we matched up, and I was just smashed.
It wasn't a complete blowout though. I wasn't in the game.
16.
Yeah. So
He hit me for was that a 13 power attack? Turn 1 or 2?
Turn 2, yeah. 13 power, turn 2.
Yeah.
So
it was a big Slogism, yeah.
Yeah, and Slogism's so much fun when it comes off, and especially in a Dorinthia deck, it's hilarious. I think I Slogismed. I think it was Slogism Goliath Gauntlet on top of the Command and Conquer. I think was what it was.
No,
so
you got to. I remember because you got to raise a reflex out of my arsenal. But,
yeah.
Unfortunately, I managed to. Because against Jacob, I just had some really awkward hands as well. Against you, it seemed to come together, and I think I got that. I got the whole Lord of Wind Chain because I had a Noguchi. I had a release in my arsenal, so I was able to tutor for the Lord of Wind, and just it was. I don't think that Lord of Wind Chain killed you, but I think you were so low.
Oh, it put me on the back foot. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Tempo went back to your favour. So that wasn't the only time we played last week, though. We were, as you said, in the office on last Friday, and there was a staff draft, and yeah, you and I got paired up again as we tend to do in these staff drafts, and
well, there wasn't. Fair enough, there wasn't a lot of people in the studio.
It was weird. We did an 8-person draft with 5 people, which is an odd thing to be a part of.
Yeah, we won't say much about it, but I mean, it was fun. We played first round because we were both done building our decks, and I think it's just that I hit you very hard and very fast. On the the game didn't go long. I hit you for a lot of damage very quickly.
And you didn't block. Like you hit me for damage, didn't block, and so then hit me for more damage the following couple of turns.
That's true, but I am trying to learn how to block. What's the phrase in the studio? Dev's block.
Dev's block. And with that being said, what else happened in that draft?
Well, we both played Chris.
Yeah.
We played Chris, who's a lead designer, and I mean, this is probably pretty all right. But should we say how momentous it was, or shall we just say that Chris was playing his worst deck that he drafted?
Yeah. So just to give Chris a little bit of saving face. We, as I said, we drafted with 8 people. So we did an 8-person draft with 5 people. So basically, James, Jason, and Chris both drafted two decks each. And to be fair, you and I bet his worst deck, but we did both get a win over him. So and that's always something to be celebrated.
Yeah, it's pretty momentous. I mean, I've never beaten James in the studio. In any format. I have got exactly one win over Jason, which was crazy. I can't believe I actually got a win in a draft ages ago against Jason. That was pretty crazy. So, I mean, because the thing is, I don't know about you, but when you beat, even if it's just terrible luck, or maybe they were suffering from a massive brain aneurysm while they were playing, I mean, I'll take a win over a good player. I mean, all my big wins in any game I've had, I remember the ones against really top players. I mean, those are the ones I kind of cherish. Even if, they wasn't their best day, I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things when you get that win over a big player, makes you happy. And, I'll just take some win. It was just, it was nice being in the studio doing some work, seeing Chris, James, Jason.
Alrighty. So with that being said, this is the first week of season 2 that Alan actually has a winning record over me. So let's see how that changes the scoreboard. So with 3-1 week for Alan jumps up almost to double digits. Alan to 9.
Praise the Lord. Nice ammunition.
So yeah,
get a chew bubble gum and kick ass, and
that's right. Alrighty, so Alan is heading in the right direction. I'm not sure what we've got coming up this week, but yeah.
Well, we'll probably play Midian Guard this week. Yeah, shout out to Midian Guard and Andy. He'll be running Thursday night, so it'd be good to see a few more people.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to join, you can definitely join in, which would be great.
Sam Smith, it's cool that you're watching out there. Yes, we are talking fab. Maybe you caught us when we were discussing level 2. We've still got a bit of fab conversation left. I
just want to pull up this one note here from Kale. I cherish the day I bet Jason in sealed after he had just finished saying he wouldn't drop a game. Also, I have double over James in both sealed and constructed. So and Kale, you have put in a lot of time and you deserve those wins. So well done on those.
Although I do like this.
This was quite nice. Brett Rogers here. We know your pain, buddy. We know your pain.
Well, Brett's probably known James from
longer than us.
Brett has probably known James longer than us as well. So,
although to be fair, I do have a few wins over James thanks to sealed verses. Not so much constructed verses, but sealed verses. But the ledger of wins to losses is highly in James's favour.
No, I haven't played James that many times, to be honest. But yeah, it's certainly so. That's why my record against him isn't so drastic as 20 years. But I dream of a day that I get a win over James.
I was going to say, you're working on 20 years, right?
I don't know. Does it count?
Doing another 10 or 12.
Yeah.
We've got a few people online, and we have our question. Let's jump into a quick little bit of Q&A here. Alrighty. Now, Kale had a question. Let me pull that up. All right. Touching on on competitive fab, what do you guys think of the current metagame? Do you feel Induction Chamber is hindering the format, or do you think it's what's needed to push decks into a different direction? That's a very good question.
Yeah. It's interesting because the thing is, the only results, like the main results we see at the moment, are all from very competitive events, and the competitive leagues online. I'm not sure how that'll shake down to your average Armory event in stores. So we're only seeing a very small snapshot, and the snapshot, of course, is some of the best players in the world, funnily enough.
Also having access to all the cards as well, which
I don't think that'll be much of a problem for a lot of players once we come out of lockdown.
Of course. No, you go.
I think one of the things we're going to try and do, and I'm working on, is try and get more of these deck lists available on the fabtcg.com website because they haven't gone up. So I'm currently in the process of getting the Taiwanese events because I've got another Armed Cup event. I've got top 4 lists for, which I might briefly mention in a bit. But of course, I've got a lot of lists, so I'm going to try and get the last week's league list, but I might work back and see if I can get all those lists, and it'd be interesting to see. But I suppose one of the things is when you see somebody with double induction chamber on the field, I mean, what goes through your mind, Ian?
Well, it's been a tough week for me. But in saying that, like I think it is. It's definitely currently probably the deck to beat. Which, in saying that, being the deck to beat means that that people have the opportunity to tick against it and come up with it. I think it's interesting because I think it's still evolving because like Sasha's double induction chamber deck was definitely a more aggressive deck than say the control dash that we've been seeing in previous weeks, and so I think it's still early enough in the discovering what the metagame is with Arcane Rising that I don't think it's a problem yet. Yes, it's very powerful. Yes, but again, much like how Ninja had a run where people hated seeing Ninja because it was super competitive. I think Dash has got that same vibe, and I think people will start playing to I think we're now in the stage where I think people are going to start, getting down to what they need to sideboard and they need to make up their deck for certain matchups. And I think possibly you're going to start seeing people maybe at the moment, Wizards not that big of an issue, so maybe you're not actually going to put as many spots into Arcane Protection and maybe put those tech spots into beating Dash or whatever. I think at them, like, it feels bad when you're playing Dash every round at the moment. But in saying that, I think the one nice thing about the 6 weeks of League is it hasn't been that it's been Dash all 6 weeks. There's definitely been decks that have come and gone, and so I think we're still in a state of flux. I think it is definitely a top tier deck. I think you have to think about how you're going to beat it in your current deck build, but I don't think it's hindering. I don't think it's hindering competitive play. I just think it is letting you know what the rock or the scissors to your paper it is. So you have to build accordingly.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is just wait till we have some real proper events. Hopefully, we'll get a delayed Road to Nationals coming up, and once we get those kind of events, then we can have the gloves are off, and people, KL, if I know KL will have every deck ready and tested. Hopefully by that time.
You mean every Guardian deck ready and tested?
Well, so the Guardian's doing all right. And that's the thing.
Guardian had some strong weeks in play as well, and so again, I don't think we're in the sky is falling. There's only one deck to play in the metagame just yet. I just think it's the current flavor of the moment. But I must admit, as a Viscera player with my current setup, I was like, when I saw someone flip Dash. But in saying that, I think even my Viscera deck, if I do some more tweaks with it to make it more aggressive in that matchup and maybe not take the turns off to make rune chants like I have had to with the current build, I might have a bit of a better matchup. Not a good matchup, but more of a 60-40 as opposed to a 70-30 that I think my deck currently has. But then again, that being said, I am not a master deck builder, so I will wait and see what people with smarter minds and sharper skills come up with. But I think that is a good question. I think it is very valid. But I don't think we have to. I don't think we have to worry at the moment.
I just think we just can't tell yet. We just can't tell yet.
Exactly. And until you get into your local meta, and I mean, because the whole thing is there is the competitive players that are going to play the best decks, but then also you're going to get into your local metas again, and you're going to come across the guys that play the decks they like, and maybe that janky Dorinthia domination deck actually is the foil to a top deck, and you just didn't think about it because you're like, no one's going to play this, and that's where the local meta is really fascinating. Whereas, I mean, that is one thing. It's been really nice with the online league, but the online league has been, as you said, a lot of top players and a lot of the same players as well. So it's a meta within itself. It's not necessarily the meta. But yeah, that's good. I can't see any more questions on there, so I think we can move on from Q&A. But if you do have any questions, just throw them in the comments, and we will get to them.
I'll briefly, we'll talk about Taiwan. We'll talk about Fab Taiwan. We talked about it last week. I went over some of the deck lists, and of course I played the the winning Ninja deck last week at the Midian Guard Armory Guard. The Medium Guard Armory event. So what I've got is last week I got an article up which was published on fabtcg.com today. It's not an in-depth article. I don't have the chops to do a really detailed breakdown of the event and the decks, but check out fabtcg.com because you can see there's a bunch of pictures from the Shillen store, which hosted it. There's the top 4 deck lists there. Hopefully, I'll be getting access to the top 8 deck lists soon, so you can put those up there. But cool thing is, I did get the results for this weekend's one that was at another Cat Footprint store. I'm not sure of the name, but hopefully we'll get these deck lists published up soon. But interesting thing, Ian, is I'm just getting my messages. Ninja did win again, and funnily enough, the Ninja winner was actually came 4th place in the previous week's event, and
nice.
Took it out with a Ninja build. So maybe I should have been playing his list from last week. He's got a fairly good list, fairly typical of aggressive Ninja. Certainly not like a controlling version like Sasha's. But coming in 2nd place in that event was Dash.
Oh, nice.
Dash was in the finals. Now, interestingly enough, talking about induction chambers, again, I'll try and get these lists published in the next couple of days. But his list, the Dash player only ran 2 induction chambers.
Yeah, I think that's pretty standard because you start with 1 out, and if it's a heavy boost, I mean, you can look for it and stuff like that. You look for it with Spark of Genius and stuff. So that's not unusual, I would say.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think the list looks fairly aggressive. Command and Conquers and Light and Strikes. You've got the 1 Conviction Amplifier, 3 Tomes, Last-Ditch Efforts, Overloops, plenty of pummels. Interesting also because, I mean, I haven't paid enough full attention to those dash lists. It's got Spring Tunic and the Foundry Heart. So I'm not sure exactly where you want to swap those ones out. Maybe
Yeah, no. I haven't played enough. Although I must admit, again, back to Sasha's build, just because I played it twice last week and got run over, but he was using the Dash Legendary and using it very, very well in that aggressive style dash where he was using the pistols, the induction chambers, but also boosting a lot, and so getting those extra actions off the Legendary is pretty solid.
Yeah. The other things is Goliath Gauntlet and running quite a bevy of null runes. So you've got the Arcanite Skullcap, which actually gives you the Arcane 3 if you've got less life, but also running Gloves and Robe in the deck, which I thought was a bit odd because they just run Mage Master Boots as their only footwear, whereas I thought maybe you'd want to run because Gloves and Robe. Are there many times that you're going to be wanting to run the Robe over Tunic and or Teclo?
Probably not.
But it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting to look at the list. So that was the top 2. The rest of the top 4, 3rd and 4th place, was funny enough made out of Bravo. So Bravo stopper. I'm having a quick look at the list here. I think it's pretty standard. It's probably the list that Cal would say, looks like his list. So nothing very exciting, but it is it is tried and tested. He's running Tech Plating and Skullcap, Iron Rot Legs, but also he's got Nullrune Hood, Gloves, and Boots available to him. So plus that Arcanite Skullcap, I think the players in Taiwan are fairly fearful of Good Wizard and Viserai players.
Yeah.
But maybe he was right because coming in 4th place was, of course, Kano. So this is probably the most. This is a list that I'll spend some time looking at later. Maybe I'll try this Kano list for Midian Guard.
Okay, sounds good.
But then again, last time I did try Wizard, I was near to awful on it. But hopefully people will have a look. The event was 15 players, so a bit of a smaller event. But
I mean, and the
was kind of like out of
Yeah.
the main city.
And again, the fact that Wizard did so well, quite possibly that might answer your question of why the people were playing so much null runes was that is knowing exactly what I was saying before. That's knowing your metagame, and if you know that there's a good player in your metagame that it's going to be running Kano, and you think that he's going to do well, you definitely want to put that arcane barrier in there because you know if you believe he's going to do well, you know you're going to have to face him near the top tables at some stage. So that's possibly answers your question about the null runes.
Null runes, yeah. So interesting because Warrior needs some. Where am I going? Wizard needs some love at the moment. So yeah, maybe. Thursday night I'll maybe throw away some matches, but it would be good to try and get a hang of a class, get some practice in with a class that I just, have not really touched.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't we continue our Midian Guard being a little bit of a weekly challenge for us? How about we both play Wizard this week?
Ooh, yeah. All right.
So
sounds good.
You can take that list. I'll come up with the list myself, and we'll see who should have gone to Hogwarts and who should have just stayed a Muggle.
Yeah, exactly. This will be cool. So, guys, if you want to, Midian Guard's Thursday night event runs 7 p.m. Australian time, 9 p.m. Australia. If you want to teach us why we shouldn't be playing Wizard, please come on, get paired up to us. At least, hopefully, as long as if I go 0-2-0-3, hopefully then at least Iain goes 0-2-0-3. He doesn't get a lead on me. So, yeah, crush us both equally. Either let us win or let us be crushed equally. That's
it depends on if you're Team Alan or Team Iain, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, really, come on. There's no choice. Definitely no choice. All right, well, I think that's about it for Fab stuff. As I think we said at the beginning, it's a little bit of a light week since we didn't play any leagues. But, I mean, obviously, next week will be interesting. We now roll over to Kirk's Corner.
Yeah. Again, I just want to, as we like to do, just give a shout out to Kirk at the database, the Fab database. We're both Patreon members. I have to admit, I was playing online. I actually got to play a couple of Americans this week online, and they both mentioned how much they loved the sleeves I was using for Viscera. I'm using the classic parchment backs for my Viscera deck, which are very cool and only available if you are a Patreon subscriber to Fab Database, and that's reason enough. It's as little as $3 a month to subscribe and just get a cool, basically effectively cool online sleeves. That's it means it's quite nice because I have sleeved up my decks effectively in different sleeves. So I've got my Viscera in the classic parchment. I've got my Azalea in the red for red in the ledger. Definitely worth checking out Fab Database and maybe flicking them a Patreon subscription so you can set up and get yourself some sweet looking card backs for your online deck. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a fat white per month, and just outside of that, because I've got so many cards, not just Fab cards, but cards, and building a deck destroys the house literally. Everything I've got 6 or 7. Was it 3,500 count boxes of cards? So being able to do some theory crafting.
Let me just give you guys a quick look at. That's just a little bit of my sorting and deck building of Arcane Rising.
Yeah, funnily enough, I see you have a BCW organizer there, which doesn't really job of organizing. But I must admit,
it very much is doing its job of organizing. I like it. If you actually look, those were all in character lines. But yeah, it is. If I didn't, if you think that's messy, if I didn't have that, it would just be the stacks of cards.
Well, to be fair, I went through 4 cartons of commons because if anybody saw like my case openings, is that I open the cases, I take out the foil, the rare plus, I put those to the side, and then actually put everything back into the pack. So on Sunday, I went through and I did all of it, and organized everything into play sets. I usually, if it's a common that I don't think is going to be that good, I usually just keep 2 play sets of each version, and some of them like Fate Foreseen. I think because I see Fate Foreseen being used,
but I'm going to keep 2 play sets, 2 full play sets.
Yeah, 2 full play of each color. Yeah. Well, Jesus, Ian, I mean, what kind of monster are you? What kind of monster wouldn't keep the worst card in the set? I mean,
yeah, no,
how many demolition teams do you have in your collection?
Hey, that's not the worst card in the set, though. I proved that last week. It's not the worst card in the set. Actually, okay. I mean, now that I'm no longer working for the company, I didn't have to do what I did with Welcome to Wraith, but so admittedly, I did do the same thing as you. I had a full set of commons and rares for home and a full set of commons and rares for work. So if I was building a deck at work, I had access to everything, and if I was building a deck at home, I had access to everything. So
yeah, maybe next week we can actually talk about our collecting.
And how we store and stuff like that.
I think that is a question that comes up very often.
Yeah. But that is not what we're talking about tonight. We had a bet last week. We did a prediction, and there were packs on the line. And since we're going to level 2, we may even be able to turn up to a store. Maybe on Friday, we may go out on a lunch break and you can buy the packs that you owe me. Because spoiler.
True. Well, how many do I owe you before this bet resolves?
You owe me 4. You owe me 4 from WrestleMania.
Okay, so it could be 8, depending on this.
Well, no, it could be 6.
Oh, is it 6? 8. All right, yeah.
Yeah, because it's 2. We doubled up for WrestleMania, but you're only putting 2 into the pot. So yeah, while it'll be 8 or up, that's fine. All right, so let's just run down it. So Money in the Bank happened yesterday. We're just going to run down our predictions and how it went. We'll be nice and quick about it because we've already been talking for 47 minutes. So we know that this is a much like the third hour of Raw. This is the part of the podcast that the ratings slip on. But it's our passion, and we'll talk about it. Damn it! Like, and just as I say that, someone else leaves the viewing. But anyway, Money in the Bank results. So the first one, neither of us got right because the match didn't happen. So Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders just didn't happen. I don't know if it's going to get passed over to Raw or what happened, but wasn't on the card that I saw, and it may have been early on the pre-show, but I have no results for it. So I
don't think it was on the pre-show because there was a couple of single matches on the pre-show.
So I think they've got bumped. So that is a swing and a miss for both of us. So the first match that did happen that we talked about was the SmackDown Tag Team match, and that was between the Miz and Morrison, the Forgotten Sons, Lucha House Party, and of course the champions are the New Day. Now, Alan, you went with your heart. You went with your heart on this one, and you picked the newcomers to Raw. You picked the Forgotten Sons, and forget about that. That did not happen. In fact, I went with the chance to retain, and that is exactly what happened. So New Day retains. That takes that's Ian 1, Alan 0.
Not
so then we moved up to the probably the easiest match to call on the card, which was the Bayley versus Tamina match.
This is where I actually started watching. the event because we splashed out and I went off to McDonald's to get McDonald's lunch for the whole family. So Big Mac, some nuggets, some hamburgers, and then came back just in time for this match to go. I mean, it wasn't a bad match. It was all right.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but as we both suggested, Tamina didn't have a chance of winning this match. So we both picked Bailey, so that takes me to 2, you to 1.
Yeah.
Then match 4, we have Drew versus Seth. And little did you know about the bombshell that would be dropped on Raw tonight, which may have affected the outcome of this match or may not have. But you went with Seth because you can't put you are one of the disciples of the Monday Night Messiah. I went with Drew, and Drew picks up a win here, so that puts me to 3 versus your 1. Then you are running out of matches. Then we go into Braun versus Bray Wyatt. Now this was Mr. Rogers Bray. It wasn't the Fiend, and I think that did play into it. Now you went with Bray, and I think you felt like the Fiend might come out in this match. But
I was hoping for it instead of the puppets. But the puppets are cool. We have puppets at ringside.
Yeah, the puppets for the crowd, and there was a nice little swerve with Braun getting thrown out of the ring at one stage and popping back up with the black sheep mask on. Bray thought that it had come back into the fold and had won, only for Braun to take the mask off, stomp on it, and then hit Bray with a power slam and pick up the win. So that is Braun, who I picked, over Bray, who you picked. That takes me to 4 to 1, and that obviously I think leads up into another matchup down the line for Braun and the Fiend.
I think it'll be the Fiend versus Braun next time. The Fiend is unstoppable.
Absolutely. And then now we get into the Money in the Bank. Now both these matches were done at the same time in a cinematic style where basically they started the men in like the gym at the bottom of Titan Towers, and the women started in the lobby, and it was a race to the top of the building to get to the ring that was on the roof to get the Money in the Bank briefcases. Now, in this,
AJ Styles lives. AJ lives. He's alive.
Yeah, he's alive. He is, but he is
other
suffering.
People died in this match. Other people died in this match, but AJ Styles is alive.
Yeah, so, although he is definitely suffering some PTSD from his encounter with The Undertaker, which we saw in the match. Just to let people know, in the men's match, I had AJ to win. You had Daniel Bryan. In the women's match, I had Nia Jax. You had Lacey Evans. And boy, were we wrong.
We were totally wrong. But I'm not
ashamed.
It was fun. Asuka went in. Asuka took the Money in the Bank. If I'm not wrong, she smacked Baron Corbin. I think at the same time.
For an unknown reason, Baron Corbin tried to stop Asuka from getting the briefcase instead of just going for the men's briefcase, which he could have done at the same time, which basically cost him a shot at getting the men's briefcase. Asuka wins for the woman. Then in the weird spot, as we assumed someone was going to get thrown off the building, and it was Ray thrown off the building by Baron Corbin, followed by Aleister Black also getting thrown off the building by Corbin, which I think might lead into a Corbin Black feud, but write Ray off, because I know Ray is very close to the end of his deal, so they may write Ray off with it and have Aleister Black come back even more dark, and with like surviving the fall that killed Rey Mysterio and out for vengeance against King Corbin or something.
I don't know, Ian. I believe everything I see in wrestling, so I assume tonight on Raw they'll toll the bell 10 times and they'll have that big in memoriam, and all the wrestlers will come out and people will be crying. It's very sad to lose these two wrestlers. One in his prime and the other one well past it. Well, actually, Ray's not past it.
No, he's not at all. Ray is doing some of the best work of his career, actually.
He's not past it. He's not the Ray of old, but he is not. Yeah. He's not past it.
Yeah. And then in the weirdest finish to a Money in the Bank, we had King Corbin and AJ Styles fighting over the briefcase when Elias hits Corbin with the guitar shot while he's up on the ladder. This makes him fumble the briefcase, in turn knocking it out of AJ Styles' hands for it to drop to the open arms of Otis. And Otis wins Money in the Bank.
That's I put Otis down to win the women's one, but he still has a Money in the Bank. That's worth a point. At least maybe.
Okay, I'll give you a point for that. And that is not going to help you. But
it's a moral victory.
You get a point for that. The finals are Iain 4, Alan 2, two asterisks bonus point. So the only match you actually got right was Bayley versus Tamina.
True, but I stand by it because I went with my heart on a lot of those picks.
Fair enough.
But I think if it had been the Fiend, because that's what I wasn't sure about. If it had been the Fiend, the Fiend would have won. Bray, I understand, and I'm a Rollins man. But going through that, the two things is, of course, the funny thing about it is, apparently, from what I've read, is Otis has said he's only going to cash in his Money in the Bank against other tag teams.
Yeah, so for a tag team shot, which is kind of cool, and maybe that's why the Raw tag teams got bumped off the card. Hey, actually no, hang on. The Heavy Mysteries on Raw, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. But to be honest, but Otis is pretty over, man. If he cashed in,
very over, and it is very interesting to see whether or not that's what he said. But he said that before he won the belt. He said that in an interview before the Money in the Bank interview. So, before the match happened, that if he won, he would be cashing it in. He was still very much part of Heavy Machinery, and they'd be cashing in for tag titles. That being said, it'll be interesting to see if they allow him to do that, because there's quite possible storyline there that they might make force him. I also see a possibility, because it has happened before, where Ziggler may talk him into putting up the Money in the Bank briefcase up in a match or something for SummerSlam.
All I can say one thing, Ian, is that Otis is not the Marty Jannetty of the Heavy Machinery dynamic. He is the Shawn Michaels of that tag team. He is the Shawn Michaels. He is a superstar. I mean, poor Tucker. Poor Tucker. I mean,
poor Tucker. Well, possibly it's more Bret Hart to the anvil than
Tucker's definitely Marty Jannetty. I know. I'm saying this to push Ian's buttons because I know what a Marty Jannetty fan he is, basically. But the other thing is, Asuka wins, and do we give Raw spoilers? I mean,
okay. At the moment. We've got one person watching at the moment. If you don't want to know spoilers for Raw,
it's Manu. I bet you, is that Manu? Manu, put on the live chat. Is that you, Manu? Because I think he'll be listening to us. Maybe Manu's listening to us. If you're out there, Manu, let us know. But anyway, let's do the Raw spoiler.
So, Becky Lynch vacates the title. Asuka by default being the Money in the Bank holder gets awarded the title only for Beck. Oh, hang on. Maybe we have just spoiled. We have a comment. All right,
yeah, it's fine.
All right. But in her gracious in giving up the title, Becky says it's your time. It's to ask her that it's your time to be a warrior. And she sees how happy that makes her, but she's even more happy because it's her time to go and be a mom. And so Becky Lynch is pregnant, and ironically beats Ronda Rousey again in real life to the prize. Ronda Rousey, of course, leaving the WWE to go off and have babies, and it hasn't happened yet. And Becky Lynch beats her to that as well. So as I was saying in our private chat, all she needs to do is find out the name that Ronda wanted to call her kid and call her that, and that's some real life feud right there.
Yeah, not that we're making fun of Rousey hasn't got pregnant, because that's a low thing to do. But yeah, it is funny. The only thing is, like, all through this whole period in which WWE has done shows, and even like the other ones like AEW, is just it's a real shame that some of these pretty spectacular and sometimes, you know, like emotional moments just haven't had that pop.
Haven't had an audience. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, if you actually see when Becky tells Asuka, I legit think Asuka didn't know until Becky said it in the ring, and legit the joy Asuka has of jumping up and down and congratulating Becky, like there's no character there. That is just a friend being super excited for her friend, and it was actually again would have been a far more, you know, a massive pop would have been in front of an audience, but yeah, no, it was a really nice moment, and definitely if you're not going to watch the whole of Raw, you can that is already floating, that little snippet is already floating around on the WWE Facebook page and on YouTube. Worth looking at it up if you want a little bit of a happy, you know, a happy vibe to come out of lockdown with, which is quite nice.
So maybe I wonder if Seth will be off TV. I mean, he will be off TV at some point.
This is what I said. I mean, possibly not now. I mean, obviously, maybe in 9 months, close to the time of the birth. But we might see Seth get written off for a little while. But or you know, maybe not. Maybe Seth has to step up and become the man, because he has to start making the money in the relationship now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Instead of being Mr. Becky Lynch.
That's true. I don't know, just some of these moments I wish, like, you know, like when McIntyre beat Brock at WrestleMania, this moment when Matt Hardy turned up in AEW recently, and just imagine what would have been like the atmosphere. Because even Jess is not a wrestling fan, but, you know, I obviously, like any man who watches wrestling, drones onto their partner about stuff that happens and how much it means to them. Even Jess is like, man, it's so weird watching them without the crowd going off in the background. So, all right, well, I think that's us for Money in the Bank, and I suppose since the next pay-per-view is I think like 5 weeks away or 4 weeks away. Next week we won't talk about wrestling. Yeah. Unless something else comes up that we like to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Alrighty. Well, I think that is us. That is we're just over an hour now, so I think that is a good time to lock it up and say thanks to everyone. So again, just a big shout out. Again, remember Midian Guard this Thursday league. Me and Alan will be playing. I believe the Dolphin League starts tomorrow as well. I think, although you may be too late to enter this week's. I just got a message from Logan saying, "Where was I?" I think Logan's like, Dolphin League. I just got a message during the podcast from Logan saying, "Where am I?" But I've got a lot of work to do this week. Obviously with things changing, which is a good thing. You know, the fact that Alan is too busy to play league is a really good thing for you guys. So and as I said to Alan offline, because we'll quickly talk about the Dolphin League. So the idea is that they're running an 8-week league, and every week, the winner of the league, their character basically gets back because they want to get a top 8 of one of each character. And so as the week or the heat, I'm not even sure it's full weeks. I think it's heats. Like they're doing heats like 3-day or 4-day heats, and then starting the next heat. But basically, each heat, the winning character gets a slot in the top 8, and then that character is no longer playable. And so you're going to get down until the last week is probably going to be full on wizard players.
Then we'll get the best wizard deck, or will it be warped? So we'll get the best wizard versus wizard deck.
Yeah. But yeah, so and to answer Logan's question on why I'm not there, I'm like basically I'll just wait until the Dash player gets eliminated, and then start up again because I had my fill of playing Dash last week, so.
Yeah, maybe
I've got a few things in the works this week as well that are taking my time away from card gaming, unfortunately. But we will no doubt healthily be back into it next week. But yeah, so till next week, remember, wash your damn hands and stay safe.
Stay safe, support all your local stores, and yeah, don't pop anyone's bubbles.